everybody. And I think we're only 4 people that have signed up that haven't actually grabbed their packs and come through the door. So this is incredible. I know that at least 1 or 2 people are watching air warfare destroyer blocks go onto the ship lift at the moment, very, very slowly. I had an interesting phone call with somebody just now. Look, on behalf of the IIMS Australasian branch, the branch committee, the members, the fellows, the students, and the chair and chief exec of the Australian Maritime and Fisheries Academy, I'd like to welcome you all to our 2015 workshop. It's been 2 years since we had a workshop or a conference. The last one was on James Craig. Quite an interesting affair, trying to stage a conference on an old ship. Has its challenges. It was a superb event, and looking at the participation here for this workshop and the people and the speakers that we have, I think we're heading in the same direction with this one. There's been many changes in the industry since the last time we gathered, and during our committee meetings, which I have to say were fairly sporadic over the last couple of years, it became clear that we needed to get back together, and we needed to share, to network, share ideas and experiences as we approach what is the 25th anniversary of the IIMS, as well as major changes in both New Zealand and Australia in terms of the way surveys are conducted and the opportunities that are available. We've got very, very high quality speakers, and I'll go through the program very briefly in a minute. On topics which, when we canvassed members, were suggested and which we hope you'll find very interesting. As I said, we have attendees from all over the country. Perth, Graham's flown in, flown himself in, braved the icing and everything else that we have down here from lovely North Queensland. We've obviously people from Perth, and I believe at least 1 person from Papua New Guinea. We're not going to give out any prizes for the furthest away, because it's actually our chief exec, Mike Schwartz, is coming from London. Not from London, in fact from Gosport, from the main headquarters. We're filming. This is all being filmed, and all Australian members will get a DVD of the conference. If you're talking, you want it to be edited, let us know. But it's one of the benefits to members. And Ben and Alex will probably be sticking cameras in your face at some stage and saying, you know, what's it all about, who are you, and everything else. Please, if you don't want to be filmed for whatever reason, you're a secret agent or something, just let them know. It is informal. The only formality is the tie that all speakers will be wearing, that's sitting up here. And the idea is that you interact and that you ask questions and bring your experiences into the whole thing. Nobody will be upset if they're challenged on a point, or upset if you ask them any questions, so please, we encourage you to do so. In terms of the program, day 1, the theme is Marine Surveying Business Essentials. After I finish off, I'll be handing over to Mike Schwartz, the CEO of IIMS, who's, as I say, over from the UK, to provide a bit of an update on where IIMS is and where it's going. And having seen the presentation over the last couple of days, I've actually been quite surprised, and immediately can see opportunities for Australian marine surveyors and tertiary companies. Then Bob Miller, who's the chief exec of the Australian Maritime Fisheries Academy, is going to give a burst on seafarer training and where it's going in Australia. Now, it used to be quite a demarcation between near coastal and dare I say, blue water tickets. It's actually quite considerably blurred, and it's moving in a much more integrated manner. Not only are there changes afoot there, but AMFA's really leading in many other areas of training, and I think you'll find what he has to say very interesting and quite surprising in many ways. In fact, I've skipped Russ, who's actually the second speaker today. Russ is talking about non-destructive evaluation, and you've seen all the excellent gear that he has outside, which we hope you'll pick up your checkbooks, or do we have checkbooks anymore? I'm not sure. Credit cards, and he takes credit cards, and help yourself too. He's been a major supporter of the branch, and we've certainly bought equipment from him, and Once you buy it, you don't have to go back to them because it all works as it says on the box. So if that's an endorsement, I hope you take it as that. After a light, healthy working lunch and networking, and we'll talk about healthy afterwards, we have the team leader of the new Marine Surveyor Accreditation Scheme, Alison, who's going to talk to you about an opportunity to become an accredited Marine Surveyor to work on domestic commercial vessels here. Following Alison, Kevin Jones is the director of the Maritime Museum, who I can see is here, and he's going to talk to you about the challenges of having vessels in operation, run with volunteers under survey, and how they've managed it. And I know there's a couple of your volunteers in the audience, and you're most welcome. And finally, we're going to take a bit of a breather. We're sort of talent spotting you at the moment. People are running various types of businesses around the country, and we're going to ask you to come up and take part in a panel discussion and interview. And it's about running a survey business in Australia in 2015, the challenges, opportunities and problems that you face. And given that there's people from both government, non-government and other areas, we hope there's an interesting interaction, and if there are things that can be fixed or things that you can share, problem shared and everything else like that, we're hoping that some decent stuff comes off the back of it. Following that, and I'm only really going to talk about today, we've got the branch annual general meeting. Now, anybody that's an IIMS member is heartily encouraged to stay. Those of you that are thinking about becoming members are heartily encouraged to stay. Anybody else who just wants the sticky link is heartily encouraged to stay. Unfortunately, the last two categories you won't be able to vote on anything, because that would be really, really interesting. But it's all about revitalising our committee, revitalising and redirecting. Because for the first time in our history as a branch, which is about 3 years, we actually have some money to do things. So the money that you guys have been putting in as subs is now available to do things. And the question is, what do we want to do with it, and how we're going to do it. So that's pretty well it. Those of you that don't want to, I'd really strongly suggest you have a wander around the quayside before it gets too cold and horrible. The vessels that are parked along here, from the vessels that are owned by the Amfer, a couple that I don't know very much about, to the Fairley, which is a historic trading ketch in South Australia, one and all, the Yelta, Nelsby, you can see at a distance, and of course the clipper ship, one of the few surviving clipper ships that brought immigrants and trade goods to Australia, South Australia, the city of Adelaide, sitting around the corner. So a wander down the quayside is really, really interesting and really worthwhile, and I would commend that to you. The AGM, I've already spoken about. Dinner, those of you that have booked dinner and hopefully told Karen what your food choices are, and we do cater. I think we've managed to do butterscotch and ice cream, only the butterscotch, so all good. It's just at the British Hotel, so if you walk out of the main door, you're facing the quayside, and you turn right. You can't miss it. That's some amazing history there. Once I've had a few beers, I'll tell you some of the senior bits of it. There's some famous people who've been up on stage there, so I'm led to believe. I've never seen any of them myself. Dinner will go until it goes. It's obviously ever so formal. Those of you that booked are great. If you're desperate and want to join in, though, if you speak to Karen, we'll see what we can do, because the more the merrier. And I know a number of your partners are going to be joining us, which is great news. And probably Karen's going to stick her head in and say, no, it's full. But no, I've been a bit necky. Anyway. Housekeeping, toilets are out there. If you are not absolutely full of food by the end of this day and a half, I've failed. We have a lovely caterer here. Hopefully the morning tea was good. It's going to get better and better. That said, the theme of one of the lectures by Professor Gary Witter tomorrow is about men's health, because this is predominantly a dare I say, slightly older men's profession. And as a result of several health scares, we've decided to get what is a world expert on men's health, Gary Witter, which coincides with Men's Health Week, and he's going to be talking to us tomorrow. So all the lunches have a healthy option, but they also have an unhealthy option for the rest of us that like that sort of thing. But if there's any issues with the food or any of the housekeeping or the toilets aren't clean or anything else like that, please speak to me, speak to Karen, or any of the committee members, and we'll do whatever we can to make that right. So I'll just bring this to a conclusion by doing a traditional welcome to country. We acknowledge that the lands that we meet on today are the traditional lands of the Kaurna people, and that we respect their spiritual relationship with this land. We also acknowledge the Kaurna people as the custodians of the Adelaide region, and their cultural and heritage beliefs still as important as living Kaurna people today. Without further ado, unless there's any questions then, I might hand over and introduce your first speaker, Mike Schwartz. and let the morning's procedures carry on.